daring and bright. Newkirk the fighter, fierce in the fight. And Ember the rogue, with skills that thrill. Together they embark on an epic ordeal. And trials, we shall prevail. With our kingdom rising, we will never fail. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim. Pathfinder Kingmaker will make our name. Oh, oh.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
From the stolen lands to the throne we claim. First the land of Golarion, where the tales unfold, with Barristan the cleric, with magic to behold. Garen,
Yeah, I would say all of the above, but that's who I am.
and Durak the druid, with secrets untold. Every story's so grand, with friends and
Just dip into Morrison's and go to the counter, the shelf, take the top off,
exploring the
and then leg it.
through thick and thin. In this epic quest, let the adventure begin. Oh.
We're not starting yet though.
This swashbuckler, daring and bright. Newkirk the fighter, fierce in the fight. And Ember the rogue, with skills that thrill. Together they embark on an epic ordeal. Battles and trials, we shall prevail. With our kingdom rising, we will never fail. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim. Pathfinder Kingmaker will make our name. Oh, oh. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim. First the land of Golarion, where the tales unfold, with Barristan the cleric, with magic to behold. Garen the bard, with songs from
Oh, what is that?
secrets
A giant snowball, my God.
every story
Yeah.
so grand. With friends and foes, together we stand.
I made one of those at the age of 14 or 15.
Thick and thin in this epic quest, let the adventure begin. Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
This swashbuckler, daring and
Oh.
bright. New grip the fighter, fierce in the fight. And Ember the rogue, with skills that thrill.
I have 1 minute and 47 to add chick onto the camera.
On an epic ordeal.
You are. Oh, I get £1 something of it, which I claim every 2 years, and this year it's going to Zed.
Battles and trials, we shall prevail. With our kingdom rising, we will never fail. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim. Pathfinder Kingmaker will make our name. Oh, oh. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim.
He'd only just got going by the time we finished the other one, so I was quite intrigued.
You were very intrigued, were you?
I need to hit level 6 to get some of my fun stuff for protecting others.
Everyone does, yeah.
Yeah.
Level 6 gets some real... I think sort of like, yeah, level 6 to 10, you really hit your stride with stuff.
Humour level a month. Are we ready, Midi?
We are good.
All right. Welcome, Pathfinder Kingmaker. So, we are set currently in the Kingdom of Brevoy. The year is 4710 AR. The time is the month is Abadius. It is a Wednesday. It is the 6th of Abadius. There are indeed 20. Though the calendar days are named pretty much the same as our days, and the same number of days typically as we have in the corresponding month. It is approximately 7 p.m. You are responding to a call put out by the Lady Jamandi Aldori, a sword lord of note and repute in Restov. The call goes out for adventurers, explorers, and those who wish to break new ground in the stolen lands. And being bereft of work or reasons not to, you all find yourselves stood outside the house. Each of you in line with a number of other individuals. Many bear weapons, accoutrements, another finery of people who are both used to carrying such items and implements of death, and also, carrying themselves with an assurity. Over one side, waiting in the courtyard, a group of about five individuals catch your attention. as they are the only ones in full plate armor. Helms, big weapons, just basically keeping themselves to themselves, but nonetheless, they are present. And gradually, each one of you is called forth and taken by a servant to a large hall, the grand feast hall of Aldori Manor. You are shown to a central trestle table where you take your seat amongst other like-minded and skilled individuals. So I'm going to move us to our first map of the evening. The spacious hall has been prepared for a great feast. Servants hustle and bustle about, while several armed soldiers, Lady Jumanji?
And we're off.
Lady Jumandi's house guards watch over the hall from their positions against the east and west walls. To the north, a fire crackles away in a large fireplace. An iron lever secured by a lock adorns the fireplace's eastern face. Two massive crystal chandeliers hang from the ceilings 20 feet above. The walls are decorated with painted murals of idyllic woodland scenes, nymphs frolicking amid waterfalls, satyrs dancing with fauns in wooded glades, and various winged fairy creatures flitting through the trees. 9 long tables are arranged around the central portion of the room, each holding plates, utensils, mugs, goblets, and full, ready-to-be-poured pitchers of ale, wine, mead, water. The smell of roasted meats and other delicious scents fill the room, yet no food has been served. Milling around the table, you find that you have been allocated positions on this table here, and you should all have your token present. Now, I'm going to pause because I'm just curious if Eddie's started his token.
Mine's awesome. I look like what's his face? Pedro Pascal.
It's Jack Z Whipper. Jack Z
Jack the
Whipper.
Whipper. Yeah.
I'll change you back in a second. I think it's just really funny. I was waiting to see if you noticed.
We noticed.
I
haven't noticed. What are you talking about?
Look at Medi's token.
It's a YouTuber.
It is a YouTuber, Jack Z Whipper. I will change it back to save any kind of cease and desist.
That's so funny.
Okay. So as each of you sit down, you obviously don't know each other. I will describe the NPCs to a moment. I was going to change Medi's token over. But can each of you go through and just describe what the rest of the group see as you all take your seat? And let's start at the top of the list, and go down the table. So we'll start with Darak, then Barristan, then Medi, etc.
Okay. Young, 20-ish human with greyish skin. So not your normal coloration of skin. Wearing leather armour. Looks like he's basically lived outside for quite a long time. Very observant. He's looking around it and keeping an eye on it.
And what is the name on the nameplate in front of you?
Right. Darak Darkoak.
Okay. Barristan.
You see a rather tall-looking human, very well built, very broad of shoulder. Probably in his mid to late 30s, you would guess, with a bit of grey, kind of salt and pepperish in the side of his hair. He's got a very serious look about his face. You can see he looks quite war-weary, I guess. He's got a number of old healed scars on his face, quite small nicks. Yeah, he seems to be sat quite quietly to himself, just observing the other people around the table. He's wearing kind of well looked after hide armor. It's not raw hides, it's proper tanned hide, so it's proper armor. And he has a I don't know, do we have weapons in the room? If we did have weapons in the room,
You absolutely do have weapons in the room.
yeah, he has a large hand and a half sword.
Because the lady sat opposite you has a huge scythe propped up against the table next to her.
Yeah.
Okay, nice one. Garen, do you want to describe yourself and obviously state what the nameplate in front of you says?
Indeed, the nameplate says Garen Maldrick. What you see in front of you is a mid-20s, beautiful-looking half-elf, long blonde hair, a buckler on his side and a morning star on his right-hand side, with a whip tasseled around his waist. He's also carrying a lute, which he randomly plucks while looking very... what's the word? He's looking at looking at everybody and taking everything in what he sees. He's very intrigued with who people are, and he wants to learn more.
I've got to ask, are we going to have dueling banjos because the person directly opposite him's also got a lute?
And indeed, the person directly opposite you does have a lute. I'll introduce Lindsay to you shortly. Let's go next with Nagruk the second. Just Nagruk.
Okay, so Nagruk has no idea what is on his nameplate because he can't read. What you see though is you see a very large, bulky orc who has seen better days. He's got a lot of grey shot through his beard and through his hair. Clearly very battle worn. His face and arms and hands is covered in scars. Slung across his back is a large shield with a metal rim, and it is a very deep, dark oak-coloured wood that runs through it. And looking around, he looks like somebody who would like very much to be anywhere else but here at this moment.
And what you would have noticed is that Nagruk had kind of wandered around looking kind of slightly lost initially until a servant kind of came over and very carefully and with respect actually tapped him on the shoulder and almost, hand on elbow almost to kind of guide him to a seat. And those around will be able to see it says Nagruk on it. All right, let's go with Shell. Thank you for that, guy.
So, next to the big orc, you see a kind of small for an orc, still not very short, so about Baratheon's size. Very pale and quite slightly built. Orc of, kind of unknown, not really unknown, yes, pale, slightly built orc. Kind of sitting there, looking around a little bit, and sort of staring at people from time to time, kind of picking up the cutlery and testing it for seeing how sharp it is, that kind of stuff. They've got a large straight sword strapped across the back with various other... The impression you get is various other bits of metalwork dotted around their person. Very calmly just kind of taking in the room, but there's something maybe not right about that sort of impression that you're seeing at the moment.
Well, thanks, Shell. Ember. Welcome, and for our long-term watchers, welcome back to Dart, who has shifted back from being a co-GM to being a
goblin.
A goblin. Give yourself a description.
Well, my goblin name is Amber, and she's quite slim and small, obviously because she's a goblin. And she's trying to sort of make herself not like she's sort of hiding in plain view of other people because she's a bit shy at the moment. She doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's got a lot of hair on her head. It's sort of grey with streaks of amber in it. And she's got amber-looking eyes. So that's why she was called Amber in the first place. And yeah, she was a bit wary of everything at the moment, and just wondered what was going on.
Okay, the other people at the table, starting at the top, opposite Darak, I'll give you their descriptions. So, yeah, so the first person opposite Darak, a ruggedly handsome man with a constant shadow of a beard on his jaw, wears dark grey hair in a small bun, carries a distinctive sword that bears the crest of House Varn, 4 hatchets arranged in a circle on its pommel guard. The nameplate in front of him reads Magar Varn. The person directly in front of Barristan is deathly pale in colour, wearing dark clothing, raven black hair, long down past her shoulders. She appears to be very plainly adorned, no jewellery of any kind visible. Leaning against the table next to her is a massive, wickedly sharp scythe. Her nameplate simply reads Jaethal, Jaethal. Opposite, Garin, nameplate simply reading Lindsay, appears to be a female, well, not appears to be, he's a female halfling. A young halfling woman wearing leather armour and a weather-worn cloak. She keeps a large leather-bound journal in front of her, every now and then picking up a small set of charcoal and seems to do a quick sketch. At one point, Garin, you notice that she is kind of looking up from what she's doing and seems to be, almost without paying too much attention, creating a sketch of yourself. And scribble some of her occasional notes, etc. So she seems to be spending a lot more time in this book than in paying a lot of attention, so it seems, around. The person opposite Nagruk, the nameplate simply reads Tartukio, Tartuccio. A even smaller individual, a gnome, impeccably dressed in fine robes and silks, looks more like a noble or a gnomish prince than an adventurer. And out of everybody at the table is probably the one that seems to be, from a clothing perspective, standing out a little bit. Next, opposite Shell, is the nameplate reads Amiri, a huge woman. And by huge, I don't mean, rotund. I mean tall and muscular, clad in a mix of animal skins, leathers, and battle-scarred hide armour. She kind of squirms a little bit in her chair, due in part to the massive greatsword in a leather scabbard that is strapped across her back. She grabs a flagon, pours some ale, and raises it to Shell. And last but not least, stats opposite Ember, nameplate reading Harim, a dwarf. Appears to be middle-aged. The holy symbols of Grotius adorns his clothing. A bald head and a long salt and pepper beard. As you take in the people around you, both those sat on your side of the table, those sat opposite you, there's kind of like a clink of glass on metal on glass, and you watch as a striking half-elf woman enters the hall, followed by an aristocratic-looking middle-aged human man. The man wearing finely tailored clothing fit for a noble, while the woman appears dressed for battle, wearing a fine leather coat over a sparkling mail shirt. And at her waist hangs an Aldori dueling sword with a bright silver pommel. The two make their way to the head table where they remain standing. The man speaks first. Greetings, hero. I am Joseph Salamius, Lord Mayor of Restov. And this, he gestures to the woman beside him, is Lady Jamandi Aldori. We both thank you for answering our calls for heroes. You may be few, but we need only the best for this great task. Lady Jamandi offers the room a broad smile before she speaks. South of here, beyond Brevoy's border, lie the stolen lands. This disputed territory has been claimed time and again by would-be settlers, but because the area has been a haven for bandits and monsters, it has never been held for long. Restov intends for this to change. If you have enough courage to drive off the dangerous denizens of the stolen lands, you can seize territory for yourselves and name yourselves baronesses or barons. Restov intends to recognise the legitimacy of the new rulers of this land, and none of the other neighbouring realms care enough to challenge you. We are prepared to provide backing as a trade partner and military ally. If you claim the land, you will have my, indeed all, of Restov's support. Lady Jamandi raises her goblet. But the details of your individual missions and charters into the stolen lands can wait. I raise my glass to you, brave heroes. For now, let us eat and enjoy the evening. Tomorrow promises to be a very busy day. Almost immediately, as she kind of raises her glass and then takes a sip and sits, the servants just kind of come out from all sides bearing platters of meat and breads and cheeses, and they start to scatter the food across the table, pulling off the lids, giving that aroma of freshly cooked meat, and the feast begins. So at this point, we are now into 6 rounds of 20 minutes of effectively the influence phase. You have an opportunity to get to know the folks on the other side of the table. There's no point in you getting to know yourself, because that will just waste the process and not help. You can, of course, do that. So the way the influence track works, Chick, that was a really cool video to post. Thank you very much for finding that and posting it. What I'm going to do is, if we try and introduce systems like that in the future, I'll put a post up, and if we can find video or something to help people, then I just post it out there. And yes, in this instance, because I thought it was good, Chick did get an extra hero point, so he has 2 hero points to start. That's the other thing. For those of you who are keen to write journals and things like that, I may choose to award you an extra hero point for doing so for the following session. But also hero points, we didn't do this in the last game, are there for me to reward you throughout each night. So it's not a case of you only have one and keep it for that one moment. If you can figure, if you can do things that are heroic or really good role play and stuff like that, or maybe just because I'm feeling generous, I will give you extra hero points throughout the session. If you read the book, you're supposed to get one every 2 to 3 hours of play. So there we go. All right, so you've got a bunch of people in front of you. They start to eat, they start to drink, they start to converse. You may choose any of them to have a conversation with, rather than do it in like in initiative order or anything like that. Let's just go from top to bottom, the first round, and then we'll spin it round and start with Ember on the second and do it that way. So Darak, you have one action. You may influence or discover any of the folks on the table. Choose your character and what you want to do.
I'm going to discover, because I am not a social person, so I don't want to offend anyone. Amri, I think.
You're going to do a bit of discovery about Amri. Okay. So how do you want to approach this? So the kind of things that you can do with discovery is you leverage some of your skills. So you might want to leverage perception. Tell me a bit more about her. You might want to leverage society. Can I figure out who she belongs to and engage her in a polite societal manner? you might decide that she is quite obviously a big kind of, well, the way she's dressed, she screams barbarian. Maybe warfare, law warfare might be something you want to engage her in. If there's other skills that you think you can bring to bear to try and discover some facts about her, just let me know how you're doing that. We'll set the DC and off we go.
Okay. I want to try survival to figure out where she's from. See if she's from the areas around here. She's obviously, if she's a barbarian, she's from a tribe or something. See if I can learn something about where she's from.
Okay.
Wait,
Give me a...
Oh, the one opposite me.
Yeah, Amory. Yeah, this
Okay, I knew that.
Give me a survival roll then.
Oh yeah, I've got to do it here. There's no active encounter. Yeah, I can't.
Can you not?
Oh,
Sure.
actually, let me try under skills rather than attributes.
Yeah, go for skills. Thank you very much. All right, nice. Very nice, Derek. So, you may discover something. So a couple of things that you notice about her. You see a flicker of disdain across her face when she looks over at Ember. That's the first thing. So I'll walk you through some of these things so you kind of get an idea of what that means. So she looks with disdain at Ember, but her eyes keep flicking to Nagruk, showing sort of a sign of interest. The other thing that I will give you is the easiest way to influence her, you think, will be to show her feats of strength. So an athletics check would be the easiest way to influence her. You didn't get a critical, so you only get one thing. So kind of giving you a couple of extra things there. So what does that translate to, since this is brand new for everybody? So every character has a set of skills that you can use to discover facts about them. The mechanics of discovery means that you discover one or two skills that you can use to influence that character, or somebody else in the group can influence that character. Also, characters have resistances and weaknesses. So in this case, Amri, being a barbarian, she has a lot of disdain, a resistance to small characters. What's interesting, though, is she has a weakness for those who present themselves as female. Technically speaking, she's a bit unsure about Amber because she's both a female, but she's also small. The smallness is kind of weighing against Ember. And those who are strong or who have strong personalities, which is why she's looking at Nagruk, because he's obviously one of the strongest in the group. So that's how this works, right? And so then what you might do is whisper to Barristan, let's say, and say, hey, that person at the end I've noticed is this, this, and this. Or you might go around and tap and have a quick word with Nagruk and say, I think that woman in front of you, that barbarian, is quite interested in you because of your size, or however you want to phrase it. And that's the concept of these influence checks, right? It's a bit weird because you're not all a group, so you're kind of gaining your own influence, but I can give you that. I will assume then that Darak will let others on his side of the table know some interesting things that he's discovered. So that would be Darak's action for this 20-minute period. We switch to Barristan.
Okay. Now, the one in front of me was the strange elf-looking lady with a scythe.
Very pale, but very plainly dressed, all in black, goth chick with a scythe, yes.
Goth chick with a scythe, okay. Okay, well,
Jethel, she's called.
sorry, was that
barbarian?
Jathel? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know anything about it yet at the moment, so I'm gonna observe her and don't know. Can I pick a skill to try?
You can absolutely pick a
'Cause,
skill
you know,
for
most-
discovery.
I'm assuming that scythe is not a farming scythe, and it looks like some kind of martial scythe.
It does, yes.
Okay, which it isn't a normal martial weapon,
No?
as I'm sure my law warfare would tell me. So I'm going to try religion to try and
Ooh,
discover
okay.
stuff about her to see if that's
Give me-
indicative of her faith or something like that.
Yeah. Give me a religion check then, please.
Does that need to be blind or?
No, you can just send it out. It's fine. We don't need to worry about blind unless I know. Ooh.
Oh, that's terrible.
You do have a hero point if you wish to use it. You don't have to use it right now.
I'm going to. Let's start us off reasonably strong. Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, that is good.
I know
That is a
that's not
success.
good. That's Derek rolling a survival check randomly.
But no, Barristan, you got a 16 according to that, so that's a success.
Yeah.
On your re-success on your religion. So, you recognise the accoutrements that she does have very little. That she is an Inquisitor of Urgathoa.
Okay.
So I think when Kingmaker was made, it's based on the original Pathfinder 2, and Inquisitor was a class in the original Pathfinder 2nd edition. So consider it... I don't actually know what it is.
Doing some kind of religious
Thematic.
Yeah.
kind of position.
Correct, yeah.
What was it? Inquisitor of what was it?
Gathoa?
Urgathoa. Urgathoa.
I actually spelled that right.
Ugathoa? Right.
Visitors root out the enemies of the faith using trickery and guile.
There you go.
Yeah, Barristan would know about that kind of thing, definitely.
Dedicated to a deity, they are above many of the normal rules and conventions of the church.
So Urgathoa is also known as the Pallid Princess.
Pallid Princess.
Yes. You got a success. I'll give you a little bit more about what, because you're also a person of religion. You do know that one of the edicts of Urgathoa is to become undead upon death, and to protect the undead.
You guess.
Wow. Okay.
So it was a success. So that's just a bit of background lore. Obviously, if you were to know anything about Urgathoa, you would be able to definitely use that. The next one, but I know nobody in the group has that. So the next obvious one in your mind would be to demonstrate a fearsome nature to her through intimidation.
So she respects being a scary, impressive kind of...
Correct. Or religion. A conversation centered around faith may also give you some influence with her.
Okay. Just as a query, I'm assuming being undead is a bit of a social pariah. Like, it's like this probably isn't a mainstream religion, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Nicely done. All right, so let's go to the next person on the table. Garin.
Seeing the young halfling across the table with a lute, I'm going to
Yeah.
lean across and I am going to see what I can find out about her.
Okay. Are you going to discover or are you going to influence?
I'm going to try and influence.
Okay, how are you going to influence her?
I'm going to look at the book she's holding and say, I see you you like to take notes as well. And I'll pat my pocket knowingly. And that is a nice loot you've got there. What's your story, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay.
Because I
all right.
love a good story.
So, give me a diplomacy roll. You wish to hero point that?
Do you know? I think I will actually.
Okay.
I mean, you already succeeded, but I'm trolling you, says that.
I'll do it for
number.
the same number. Yeah.
It was a failure. She kind of looks at you and she frowns a little bit and she kind of pulls her book in and sort of says, this is private. I don't wish to share this with you. And she kind of reaches over and grabs. So, what happened there? So let me give you some context of what happened there. If you'd have picked your loot up and started playing, you'd have done a performance check with a very easy difficulty. You actually took one of the hardest routes to influence her, which makes it very, very difficult. Nice. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. So now let's switch to Nagruk. What are you doing?
Still looking deeply uncomfortable with the fact that everybody's around here. And looking over the table from him, he can see somebody that he has absolutely no understanding of whatsoever. So he's kind of scanning up and down the table, trying to see who he can size up. Mechanics questions, Ed. So with Amri, the barbarian, I know we've already looked at her. Is there any point in going back over her?
So you can absolutely go back and do a further discovery. That will just learn. So what that would give you is a bit more flavour, but also a couple more skills that you could use to influence her. Or you could attempt, because we've kind of hinted that she likes strength, you could attempt to influence her by making some kind of athletics check. Maybe kind of sit there just flexing your muscles, kind of obviously at her, looking at her as you flex your muscles while you're or ripping bits of meat off with your hands and ignoring the cutlery and that kind of stuff. You know, those kind of things, that interpretation of how it could work.
Yeah, you kind of read my mind. So Nagruk is going to sit there. He's going to kind of sit himself up a bit, throw his shoulders back and try and stick out his chest as much as possible.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
I'm just imagining, Nagruk bouncing his pecs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Throwing a grape up in the air and bouncing it off his peck and catching it in his mouth.
Okay, I'm going to give you the same question. It's entirely up to you. Do you wish to use a hero point, or are you happy with that roll?
No, I'll stick with that.
Okay, 13. She kind of looks at 16. She looks over at you, and she, as you kind of, you sit back and proudly show your pecs and bounce a couple and reach over, casually flexing the muscle, grabbing a piece of meat off the bone and ripping it up. She kind of, her eyes kind of raise a little bit and she gives you a smile, immediately grabs the other hunk of meat, pulls that off and kind of goes to do the, bash your meat against her meat banana kind of thing. So just so you know, you actually now have one influence point. So that was a successful influence. You have one influence point for Amory. Okay, nicely done. So we go to Shell.
Hi. The person below Amory is hidden by the chandelier. I can't really see much about them.
It's called Harry.
The dwarf.
Harem. Let me show you his image. I should have showed you everybody's images, to be honest. There is Harem.
Alright, now you're a bit of a dick. I'm not going to bother with him.
He's got a skull on his shield.
Yeah, it's probably more your type, I think. I am
That's
also
Amory.
quite intrigued by this Amory character as well.
Okay.
So, knowing that she's being not overly impressed by this feat of strength, as it's called, by this big hulking thing next to me, I'm going to demonstrate to them that you don't have to be big and ugly to be strong.
We're starting this early, are we?
I haven't quite worked. I've only got the insult worked out. I haven't actually quite worked out what I'm going to do as a feat of strength yet.
Okay.
But actually, no. What I'm going to do instead is use law warfare even though it's not.
Do a little bit of discovery.
Yeah, bit of
Okay, yeah.
discovery. A
Of
kind
course you
of
can.
nice sword. I'll show you mine if you show me yours, kind of thing.
Okay, give me a law warfare check, please.
And that's under skills law warfare.
Yes.
Ooh.
Very nice. Do you wish to re-roll that with a hero point, or are you happy with the value?
I'll make do with that.
You'll
Thank
make
you
do.
very
Okay.
much.
So further discovery. Intimidation would work against her. Standing up to her, someone her size and sheer presence, you think would kind of influence her and make her look favourable upon you. And then survival, but you're starting to get into the slightly harder checks at this point. Survival might work. Performance, diplomacy, survival may work. What else can I tell you about her?
So once you've had a successful discover, because you gave us the extra information at the start, there's not that much more. Like if we'd only got the strength out first time round.
Yeah. So the way it works is you always find the lowest DC skill check to influence, and then anybody else who does discovery would find the next lowest, etc.
Yeah.
Is there anything else though that you might learn about her?
Right.
As you've been watching her, she's quite blunt. She's blunt with the servants. She completely ignores niceties and does not act in any way dainty. As a servant walks by with a fresh platter of meat, she'll just casually reach over and pull some meat off the tray. Not even, taking the tray or letting, gesturing for the tray. She just pulls it, and she'll do it almost absent-mindedly while she's down in ale, and she'll let the ale dribble down her face and stuff like that. So she clearly is very ignorant or dismissive of social niceties. The other thing that you will notice is she has not even acknowledged the gnome sat next to her. And a couple of times the gnomes tried to engage her in conversation, and she's almost, put hand in face and pushed away kind of thing is the reaction.
Cool.
She clearly does not like anybody that is small. All right, nicely done. And Ember.
I'm gonna discover this dwarf or something with me.
You're going to discover the dwarf, and what are you going to use to discover? I mean, dwarven lore, perception, religion, something else?
Well, I can speak dwarf.
You can speak dwarf.
That was the other language that I didn't.
Yeah, you can speak dwarf. Okay. All right. That will get you a bonus if you speak in his native language. You still need to decide what you're going to use.
Wait, what was the options? Right.
Any of your skills.
From your
my skills.
Yeah, what skills are you going to kind of bring to bear?
Oh, okay. Let me see. Where are they? Where's my skills?
You want to think of one that might suit him, or what you know so far?
I just had a silly idea. Never mind. Acrobatics?
Acrobatics would be more of a skill to influence. So maybe start with something like perception to start with, Dart.
Perception is not actually on the list of core skills.
It's the skill that everyone gets, but it's not listed under skills.
Well, how do I roll for that then?
It's on the first page on the left-hand column.
It's actually set as your initial.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
I
your
just
perception.
roll that,
Yeah,
just roll that.
just roll that.
Hang on. I'm not used to doing this shit. There is no active encounter, it says.
Yeah, it will do. Because
if you want to roll skills, Dart, it's the hand on the list on the little icons on your main
Yeah,
sheet.
but where's perception?
Perception, you need to go to your character sheet because it's not under skills.
That's really silly, isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
under
it's only under
attributes.
attributes.
On
Yeah,
the
But
It doesn't work because there's no active encounter.
No, but you can click on the perception check, surely. That's right. Yeah, you can
Yeah, just click on the
perception.
dice next to the perception
Yeah.
check. It should roll.
where's the
Wow.
perception check though?
On the
It's
far
on-
left,
Yeah.
middle of the tab.
Yeah,
Below,
it says-
yeah,
Oh, above it.
dice.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I'm
On the
stupid.
character sheet, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so actually you get a +2 bonus to that because you're speaking in Dwarven. Okay. He nods. He perks up a little bit actually, and starts conversing with you in Dwarven, explaining a little bit about his faith and what brings him here. You learn that he's here because there is the existence of a possible. He believes that there might be the existence of a possible lost dwarven ruin in the stolen lands, and he is hoping to find them before they crumble away entirely or the world ends. And as he sort of says that, his eyes lock on yours, and he says, "Abandon hope and embrace the inevitable, young one." To influence him, obviously, Gratius law, if you had it, to speak about his faith would be a good one. But as a backup to that, you could actually, you could engage him on other religious topics, though that would be slightly harder. Dwarven law would be the second easiest. I don't think anybody's got that. So the third easiest to use to influence him would be religion.
Which
All right.
I've got not trained in.
Doesn't have to be you though. Okay, so I think let's go back to the top. Go back to Derek. Let's just quickly run through this. So this is now round 2. So far you have 1 influence over Amiri, but you've learned a little bit about your fellow, some of your compatriots at the table.
Okay. I'm going to gather info again because I don't think I've got anything that'll actually help in influencing. This time it's tattoo show.
Tusio. Okay.
His perception. I'm looking at him to try and figure out
Okay.
how he fits in here.
Give me a perception roll.
I don't know. I need to pop it in. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Okay, you picked the hardest skill to do discovery on.
Oh.
Best you can tell, he is a magic user of some kind. Doesn't surprise you, he's a gnome. Probably sorcerer. Definitely not wizard. There's no presence really of a spell book. The conversation, a couple of times he kind of engages in a conversation with Lindsay, the bard next to him. He seems quite brash, a little bit arrogant, definitely obnoxious, comes over as having a rather large superior complex. He gets a bit rude and argumentative at one point when he demands the finest wine that Lady Jamandi is drinking, and kind of gets rude and dismissive when the servant insists that yes, that is the wine on the table that she is partaking on, and he just doesn't want to understand it. You get the sense that you would need to be very careful in trying to influence him. He would not suffer fools gladly. And then influence arcana would be the best way to go about getting a rapport with him as you talk shop about magic. Okay. Barristan.
Is it Jathel? Jathel?
Jathel.
Probably.
Jathel.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Is she engaging and talking to anyone particularly, or?
She is. She's talking as little as possible. That's all I'll say, unless you go for a little bit more of a discovery.
Oh, that's fine. You said that she might respond well to maybe some kind of intimidation or something.
No.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I think she'd respond really badly to intimidation.
Yeah.
No.
It was related
I thought said she quite respected, like,
No, that
shows of
was
strength
the
and
warrior.
scariness.
That was the warrior down the bottom.
No, the warrior down the bottom and Jathel will respond
okay,
to
so-
intimidation. Yeah,
She will.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
yeah.
I didn't have that down.
She will.
So, it might be a bit of a short interaction, but like the way I can see this intimidation working, so I'm obviously not just gonna like growl at her and punch her out.
And
I'm
big
gonna
sip
kind
of
of-
wine.
Kind of with quite a stern, serious expression, lean across the table in a bit of a challenging manner,
Yeah.
and just sort of say to her, "I see you like small talk as much as I do,"
Okay.
and kind of just try and challenge her attention. So
Give
that
me an
she's
intimidation roll.
gonna fail this, aren't I?
I have
Oh, it's a good roll.
Oh, that's a very good roll. 21. Okay, no, that's a success. She kind of smiles at you and she nods. She doesn't really say anything back, but she definitely, you get that sense of a little bit of a friendly rapport. So you do have a little bit of influence with Jathel. Nice.
A bit of an icebreaker, I thought.
Is there anything else I could maybe tell you about her? She seems lonely.
Is this the picture with the bomb with the scythe?
Yes. So you wonder whether you could switch tactic to maybe use a bit more diplomacy in your conversation with her. However, what I would say is diplomacy is incredibly hard for her, but if you can break through that loneliness, future diplomacy checks get very easy. Okay. Let's go to Garin.
Okay, Garen's gonna wink back at Lindsay.
Yep.
He's gonna lay back a little bit in his chair, pluck a few little tunes on his lute, wink at her, and then go, "In the fields of Rossland where the dawn kisses a day, a tale shall we weave of honour's bright ray. Through the plains and the valleys where the warriors stand tall, the spirit of Rossland shall answer the call." And a bit flourish at the end there.
Give me a performance check, please.
Bloody hell.
With advantage?
Well,
was good. That was awesome, Maddie.
we don't have advantage, so add +2 to your check.
Too late.
Fine, I can do it manually. That would be a 15. Do you wish to... Have you got any hero points left?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Do you know what? Take a hero point. It's a success anyway, but take a hero point, because I think that is absolutely, to Barristan's point, that is absolutely bloody awesome. She looks at you and she kind of immediately, you notice her sketch something in the book, and she kind of flips the book over this time and actually shows you, and she can see the first stanza of your song she's kind of put down with a very nice image of your lute.
Is there a tiny penis drawn on his face as well?
There is no tiny penis.
That would be a 20.
We need to get hold of that book and change that.
Okay, excellent. Can I give you anything else? She's excited. You know, at the end of that, she kind of says, what I would love to do," she says, is find that one true hero of the stolen lands and chronicle their success as they rise from," and she kind of gestures around and almost self-depreciatively says, "mediocrity to fame and fortune." Okay, let's go to Nagruk again.
All right, so he's going to look up and down the table a bit. And he's going to settle his eyes on Megan Van. And
Megan Van.
Yeah, he
Let
wants
me
to
show
size
you what
his-
he looks like.
Sorry, what was that guy's name again? Because I never got it down.
Megar Van.
Oh, Megar with an R.
Megar Van.
That's the one at the top of the table, yeah?
The one at the top of the table.
Yes, very regal, well dressed.
So total opposite from Nagruk. What Nagruk is trying to do is size him up to understand what his kind of fighting capabilities are.
Okay. Give me a perception check then.
Oh bollocks! Sure, it's not a law, warfare law or something.
Warfare law. I will take warfare law if you wish.
I think I'd better do that. Hang on, where is it? Do I do that or do I do that? Or perception? No, I'll do perception.
I'll do perception. Okay. You'll kick yourself.
I'm going to use a hero point.
I would absolutely use a hero point.
Oh,
Okay. Magar is very much a closed book to you. He is. You catch him bragging that he's been assigned to the No Men Heights, and he kind of leans over to Jathel at one point. Jathel kind of looks over at Barristan and rolls her eyes as he starts bragging about his village called Varnhold. But in general, he's been quite charming at the table. He's just got this kind of impatience about him and this bravado and braggadness about wanting to get on with it. You know, the feast is a mere informality. What I would say about Magar Varn is the thing that you really get is he's going to be a very tough nut to crack and very difficult to influence. From a mechanics perspective, again, because this is the first time we're doing this, he is the hardest person to get any influence with at the table. But if you crack him, he's the easiest in terms of you need the least number of influence to actually make a difference.
So a natural one won't swing it with him then.
A natural one would definitely not. Well, a natural one would be you'd be on a minus one to his influence, and he'd be giving you, the challenge at dawn. Okay, let's go to our good friend Shell.
Right, so I'm going to try and do what I intended to do last time, but got my terms mangled up.
Okay, no worries.
And I am going to look around the table for something kind of metallic, maybe like a table knife or a fork or something like that.
Plenty of those there.
They're not going to miss the odd one, right? They've not got the good stuff out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it into a bracelet and kind of offer it over the table to Amri with a little kind of look, kind of a smile, kind of hi kind of thing.
If you and Nagruk aren't oiled up wrestling in front of a fireplace before the end of tonight, I'll be impressed.
Okay.
I'd find my third knife that way.
I'm going to give you a choice. You can make a show of doing this with strength, therefore an athletics check. Or you can make a show of doing this very carefully, and I'd give you either a performance or a crafting check.
I was envisaging athletics as a strength check to demonstrate.
Or an athletics roll.
Right, let's see how we do with that.
Oh, that's a very nice athletics roll.
Thank you very much.
Do you wish to use a hero point?
I'm quite the athletic person myself.
Do you wish to use a hero point?
Nah, I'll be alright.
All right. Okay. So she watches you with interest as you kind of, and again, I'm imagining Shell to be more wiry, not as muscular as Nagrut, perhaps, but certainly still have that strength. You know, you're more dexterous, you're more lithe, you're more wiry,
And
but you'd still have muscle.
Androgynous.
Androgynous. You'd still have muscular structure, and she watches with interest as you kind of bend this into like an almost perfect circle. And then you offer it her. As you kind of offer it her, though, she grabs it from you and she looks at it. She smiles. She nods. She goes, "Very nice," and then tosses it over her shoulder. And it goes behind, and it clanks on this adventurer. It hits this adventurer on the back, who spins around and looks around, and she's just there drinking and looking at the two of you with interest. However, that is your third influence point with Amory. So what that we'll come to what that means later.
Yeah,
that's very good. Okay, nicely done. Ember, you're up.
A quick question, Sid. When you talk about 3 influence points, influence counts across the group as a whole.
It will do, yes. Once we finish, we will, because you'll be brought together by Lady Jamandi, as a group to solve a problem for her. And so, yes, the influence will be then part of the group.
And that's generally the way this mechanic works. So they are group influence. Okay, all right. Got it.
Yes.
That's why I'm doing the investigation to help you lot with the rolls, because I know I can't do any of
Ember,
the relevant rolls.
Sorry, quick one, Zed, before we go. How much influence are we, is good? What is not good?
It depends on the character. So for example, as I mentioned, Magar is the hardest to influence, but all you need is 1 point to change his attitude when you next meet him to friendly. If you were to get him to 4 points, he will offer you a boon that is really useful. If you look at Amory, to get her to be friendly, you need 2 influence points, but to get the boon from her, you need 8.
Oh, wow.
So it's, it's honestly, to Barrison's point, if Nagruk and Shell started wrestling and that was your action, both of your actions, that could be 2 to 4 points if you were to critical, your wrestling rolls and stuff. She would potentially love that.
I've got some oil, guys.
Anyway, Ember, you're up. And you're right, we're not going to get past page 19 tonight.
The elf lady, is it Jaethel?
Jaethel, yes.
Yes. With the scythe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Can I talk to her?
You can absolutely talk to her. What do you want to do? Discover something or influence her?
Discover.
Okay. Perception, religion.
Can I do an underworld check?
Yeah, sure. Give me an underworld roll. Law underworld.
That's a rubbish roll.
If you've got a hero point, you're more than welcome to re-roll.
Have I got a hero point?
Everybody starts with one.
I've got one.
I can double check. Just make sure you uncheck it from your box, by the way, if you've used them.
Oops. I have to do the right clicking to uncheck.
That auto takes it off.
Oh, it auto takes it off if you re-roll. Cool.
Does it?
Well, mine vanished when I used it, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I just re-rolled again.
Yeah, no, you can just right-click, can't you, on the tile and re-roll with a hero point. Okay. You don't really get anything from her in terms of the underworld. You don't believe in any way, shape, or form she is connected to any thief guild or any other underworld type organization.
Okay.
So that is unfortunately a failure. So let's go back to the top and back to Derek. Round 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Okay, we've done something with everyone now. Okay, I'm going to use perception on
Sorry,
Megas.
I thought Underworld was undead for a minute. That's why I did
Yeah,
that.
no.
It's thievery,
It's fine.
Yeah, it's
criminal
not the goal.
underworld.
My
Yeah.
brain wasn't thinking very well at the moment.
No, don't worry about it. We're all getting used to this.
Yeah, I'm going to use perception on Mega. See if I can learn something with that.
Okay.
Practice nuts, as you put it.
Give me a roll. You might have to yell out the thing because I'm currently looking at something else for a second.
Okay. I'm re-rolling.
Yeah, I would.
That's better.
That's a lovely roll.
5.
25 was that?
Yep.
And that was... you were using perception, yeah?
Yeah.
25. Second hardest skill to use to gain anything through perception. But you succeeded.
Oh, good.
Okay. He occasionally tries to engage you in conversation about the history of the stolen lands and the history of Brevoy. And a couple of times he reads off, he kind of gestures and, oh, do you see that person over there? They wear the coat of arms of such and such a family in Brevoy. He seems to be very... He has so his weakness, which means if you play on this, you can get bonuses to your rolls, is history, Brevoy law, heraldry law, politics law, or warfare law. But taking a historical slant.
Yeah.
Who was that, Zed?
That is Megar Var,
Varn.
the guy at the top.
Yeah, the one you tried last time.
Yeah.
By the way, in the background, you can hear the distant rumble of thunder.
I had noticed.
Exactly. And it matches occasionally the flashing at the back of Barris.
I know. I was like, hang on, have I got sound on this?
I'm constantly keeping an eye on Jaethel, though, because I don't trust her.
Those would be... So, those law skills are the easiest ones to gain influence with. But from a mechanics point of view, they're over 20 in terms of the number you need to hit. Like I say, he's the hardest one to influence, but actually has a lot to offer if you do so. If you manage to get to 4, it's awesome. Okay, nice one. So let's go to Barristan.
Okay. So I've kind of broken the ice with this lady.
Yep.
I guess lady / weird elf inquisitor. That's quite alarming. I'm gonna kind of ask her. You look to be one that might ponder some of the higher mysteries and try and engage her in a discussion about religion. To try and see what topics might intrigue her. Perhaps maybe the afterlife.
Go for it. Give me a religion roll.
I'm not gonna talk about undead or anything like that, because obviously that's a bit of an anathema kind of topic to start just talking to people about. But see where it goes. No, not very far, I suspect, with that roll.
It is not very far. Do you have a hero?
Or already used it.
Already used it. So you don't succeed in terms of influencing, but I'm going to give you one more snippet of information. In that length of conversation, there was one point where your conversation could have very easily steered towards the afterlife and undeath. And as you said a couple of things, not actually going there, the registration on her face tells you that if you go anywhere near that topic, she becomes a closed book.
Okay, so yeah, definitely avoid that.
Okay, let's go to Garion.
Yeah. I'm going to still stick with Lindsay.
You're going to still stick with Lindsay. That sounds interesting. Okay, how are you going to stick with Lindsay?
I'm just going to play a little ditty and see if she can follow it. My
Okay,
lutes.
go for it. Another performance check. And by the way, you can repeat the same skills once you know that they're the weak ones to use. You're not forced into using a different skill each turn.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I maybe should have said that a round or two ago. Go for it.
Oh, that was a 12.
String just broke.
Yep, string broke.
String broke, so that's a failure. Yeah, she kind of listens for a couple of minutes, kind of cocks her head to one side, looks at you and sort of says, "Is that the best you can do?" Pulls out her thing and she goes, "This is not your tune. This is just a tribute."
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Nagruk.
All right. So Nagruk is kind of weirdly fascinated by Megar at the moment. He doesn't know. Say again.
I said, "Okay, I love it. I absolutely love it."
And he doesn't know anything about the Nomen Heights or Vanholm,
Yeah.
but he wants to talk about the strategic importance of the Nomen Heights and how impressive it is that he has influence there. And I'm looking for a warfare check to understand
You
what.
absolutely go for it. Go for it. And I so hope you get this,
Oh, so do
I do as well.
because this is going to be awesome if you do.
Yeah, don't say that, Zed. Hang on, I've got to find warfare now. Where the fuck is it?
Law warfare.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Yeah, that is one of the kind of alternatives I was thinking about going with this dude. So.
Oh, for fucking hell.
fuck's sake.
Do you have a hero point?
Oh, yes, I have. Oh, hang on, no, I used it last time because I rolled a
You
natural
used it.
one.
You used it last time because you rolled a natural one. Oh,
At the same time,
man.
it feels kind of appropriate, Nigruk talking to this guy.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so unfortunately, that is technically a critical failure. So you actually go down in his estimation.
We didn't have any points.
Don't have any anyways.
Anyway, so we go to Shell.
So he's at a 5 critical failure.
If it's 10 points lower than the
10 points lower. So minus 10 becomes a critical failure.
Got it.
Yeah.
I am going to try something different here. I'm going to assume, and we all know what happens with assumptions, that the bard is also aware, likes a little bit of trickery and a little bit of.
Okay.
I'm going to do a little magic trick. No, I'm not. That's ridiculous. My mind's gone blank now. Essentially, what I want to do is a stealth. I was thinking about doing like a stealth check or stealth/thievery. I think stealth is quite fun. And could I thematically kind of wander over without being noticed and just give a little hi? What you do? What you write it? Kind of look.
Yeah, go for a. Give me a stealth check.
This could be yeah. Let's see how this goes.
So as you kind of get up around the table and you kind of with your flagon of whatever, and you kind of surreptitiously kind of move around, stop and talk to Ember, this small goblin person next to you. You kind of nod at the dwarf at the table, and Amri kind of looks at you with a sly smile as you walk past her. You kind of just glide to the back of Lindsay, and then you just kind of bend down and go, "Hi, how you doing?" And she kind of goes, "Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Who are you?" That is 1 influence point. So you now have 2 influence towards Lindsay as a group. And that's actually the second stage of her attitude. So that's actually pretty good. All right, nicely done. Ember, the last one for this round.
Okay.
You're an hour into the meal now. This has been kind of going on for about an hour.
Can I pick someone's pocket?
Who do you want to pick?
No.
Who do you want to pick?
Pocket is the question.
I
We're
just
gonna
want to
end up
show
with what,
some,
John?
some not pickpocketing skills, but sleight of hand skills with
Okay.
somebody, rather than just picking
with
someone's
someone's coin purse.
Maybe
No,
best
not
do some
exactly.
juggling,
Right.
maybe?
And who have you in mind?
pocket. I'm thinking the halfling.
The halfling.
There's-
Lindsay. Everybody is pouring their attention on this poor little halfling bard. So, you can do a... What is the skill?
Thievery.
Thievery.
Thievery. Give me a thievery roll. Okay. Describe what you're doing.
I'm just using some of my own coin to show it moving from one place to the other, but not actually moving without just being seen.
Okay.
Like a simple magic trick type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Right.
someone, when they're doing that finger thing, when they got a coin moving.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll give you a success. I'll give you a bit of influence. So you've kind of gone over and you're kind of stood behind Garin and you're just rolling this coin and moving your hand up and down at the back of Garin's head whilst he kind of fumbles around with his lute, trying to remember what the greatest song in the world was, but he's not doing very good at it. Excellent. I'll definitely give you an influence. Let's go to round 4, top of the round, Derek.
You're muted.
No, I just haven't said anything. I'm trying to think who we can actually influence that I can actually help people. I haven't got any skill to think that could actually influence anyone.
I think you do. Let me just double check for 1 second.
The only one I can see is survival with Amri.
Right. Okay. So you've spent a bit of time getting to know some of these folks. There is one character that does sort of jump out a little bit at you. You think? Oh no, that's discovery. That's not going to. No. So you could use nature on Tartukio to do some more discovery about him if you wish. That's the only one. What was the other one? Survival was your other skill, your other thing, wasn't it? Does anybody at the table warm to survival? Amri does, yeah.
Yeah, I discovered that earlier. I'll try nature on Tartusha.
Okay.
That's discovery roll, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a discovery roll, yeah.
Okay. Attributes, skills. There we go.
The rain, by the way, has started.
Very nice roll.
I think that worked well.
That is a discovery. That's a critical success. So actually, you'll learn 2 things about Tartusio. So in terms of influence, deception, intimidation would work on Tartusio, frightening him into making him feel little and weak, and doubting his plans would actually work. And another way to influence him would be deception, making oneself appear more superior than you perhaps are. I think that's really good. You definitely get the sense that if anybody fails in front of him, then it's going to be very difficult for that individual to gain any influence with him. It's not impossible. It's just a -2 penalty. Flattery and compliments in a deception check makes the deception easier. Okay, Barrister.
Obviously, I think I'm quite enjoying this conversation. Clearly picked up on the cues that talking about the undeath side of things is probably not a good idea.
Yep.
I'm going to continue to try and get her to coax her out of her shell a little bit because she's obviously, a bit lonely, etc. But I'm gonna stick with the religion kind of approach.
Yep.
And see if I can get her onto any topics that she's a bit more passionate about, that she's
Go
happy
for it.
to talk about.
All right. The attention around her, that you've got three people kind of fawning over Lindsay. It distracts her too much. She kind of closes back up, almost glad that the attention of the rest of the table is on Lindsay and not on her. And as a result, for the next sort of 20 minutes or so, you find it very difficult to engage her at all, from eye contact all the way to conversation. Then we go to Garen.
Okay, picking up on what Darax found out about Tuccio, sorry.
Yep.
I'm going to lean across the table. I'm in 2 minds.
Call him a short, fat little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to do? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Tartuccio, I've noticed that you seem to be quite disrespectful to a few people that are here. Why is that? What are you afraid of?
No diplomacy?
Yeah, I was aiming more for intimidation, but I suppose diplomacy.
That's not really intimidating him.
It's not really. No, I'll go for diplomacy.
No, that's diplomacy. Do you want to reword it? Be a bit more intimidating?
Why are you such a little shit? Sorry.
You want to intimidate? Give me an intimidation roll. I mean, absolutely, you can do that. I would say that your approach here is more along the lines of, you've listened to some of the things he said about his plans for going into the Stolen Lands, and you kind of go, you kind of poke on that, and you say, really? Somebody so small as you surviving in such a large and unfriendly land?
Yeah,
what
don't
do
you think
you
it misguided?
Yeah, exactly. So give me your intimidation roll.
It's better payoff now.
You should definitely insult his outfit as well.
Even with an insult to his outfit, can I give you a bonus? I cannot.
I mean, come on, who would wear a popped collar these days?
I know, and exactly, and that's not a 4-head, that's a 5-head.
He kind of looks over at you and he sort of says, "You music-loving sot. You think I won't survive in the Stolen Lands? How would somebody like you survive in such a hostile place? Fawning and playing songs for your bread and butter. You're beneath me. Now be off with you." So you are now on a -2 penalty. Any further attempts to influence him?
Show him the A minor concussion chord.
Well, the level 1 spell, biting words.
The -2, is that everyone or just
No, just me.
Just that PC.
Right.
Okay, so now we
I
go to
shall give
Nagruk.
him a flourishing bow as I back up again.
Okay, Nagruk.
All right. Well, with all his social graces and airs, he's going to stride up to Van.
Oh God.
Okay. Yeah, and
he's been listening to Van talk about quite expressively about Van Holm, and obviously Nagruk as a very evident warrior. He wants to know what the defenses are like and what makes it such an important strategic.
Okay. So another warfare law check then.
Oh, what could go wrong? Don't say that. Why do I keep saying that?
Don't say
I
that.
have a list. I'll look you up on the list. Yeah, critical
Oh,
failure is on the
Jesus.
list.
You know what?
You asked.
You are
they
screwing us up
delivered.
so much that I'm going to give you a hero point.
Can our influence go off the bottom and back onto the top again?
Yeah, it's like a
And he
Rolodex.
used that hero point you've just given him to save himself.
It's only
No.
it register, so we've only got 396 more to go.
Okay. He kind of looks up at you and he says, "Really, Orc? Go back and play with your swords.
I haven't got any swords, it's a flail. And he dangles it in front of him.
Maybe you should learn to use one." And he kind of turns and looks at... Actually, he looks across the table to Darak and sort of says, "You are quite quiet, aren't you?"
Yes.
And he just leaves it at that. Okay, let's go to Shell.
Simple as that.
I am going to improve my standing with Amri the Barbarian by
Yes.
kind of rolling forward and offering an arm for an arm wrestle.
Oh, okay. Now, are you intimidating her in doing this, or are you
I'm
physically going
smiling.
for an athletic?
A bit of a smile and like, come on, let's have a go.
Okay. Give me an athletics roll. Let's see how well you do.
We've got medicine, just in case.
Beautiful.
That is a critical success. That gets you 2 points.
So smile. So she
She beats you.
She beats me.
She beats you. So she slams your arm down. You put up a fight. She slams your arm down. But as she slams your arm down, she grabs the back of your head. She pulls you in and she sticks her tongue down your throat. And she says, "The only wrestling you and I are going to be doing is later in my chambers. Be off with you."
I push her away at that.
Okay.
However,
You're going to be having her babies.
I will take the 2 points of influence. Is it for that?
Yeah, you'll get 2 points of influence. That puts you on 5 with Amri.
So,
I
elf
think it's
or
my
human?
Okay, Ember, you're up.
Let me see.
Nice one, Jake. That was great.
What's rolling? I'm really scared now.
I think she's +4. She's +4 in her strength, so she's like quite a hench.
I'm looking at you. So I'm technically stronger. No,
Stronger than +4? I was like, can you even get that?
I'm mistaken.
No. Remember, some of these might be higher level than us as well, so
Yeah, some of them are very much higher level than you.
I'm
they'll
going to
have.
intimidate the gnome.
You want to intimidate the gnome. You're going to go and kind of square up against Tatsukio and intimidate him. Give me an intimidation roll then, please. That's a success. Actually, this is quite comical to the rest of the group because you've got a gnome, small, being loomed over by a small goblin. And there's this kind of stare off, and after almost no words pass between the two of them, then suddenly Tatsukio kind of backs off and goes, all right, no need to prove a point. You get one influence. Okay, nice. So listen, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We're at round 4. We've got 2 more rounds of this to go. Your standings at the moment are this. Magar, -2. Amri, 5. Jathal, 1. Lindsay, 3. Tatsukio, 1. Harim has been ignored. Poor Harim. To get the best value, I would focus on 1 or 2 of these now for the next couple of rounds to try and get as many points with them as you can. As an example, you need to get the highest influence with Amri, you need at least 8 influence points. To get to trigger the first level of influence with Jathal, you need 3. So Lindsay is in level 2, but to get level 3, you also need 8. So balance of probability, getting criticals to 2 people getting criticals to push Lindsay to 8 is probably going to be quite difficult. So you don't necessarily need to influence her anymore. It's whether you want to try and influence a few more. Magar, you need 4 to influence Magar. You're at -2. It's going to be really difficult to trigger him now. I mean, you've triggered him, but so just have a think. It's entirely up to you. I'm not going to say who you should and shouldn't go. They all have little quirks and positives and minuses, and things. So yeah, 5 minutes.
Right, back.
See, I'd normally go for Jatho, but you know why I can't. You get.
Yeah. See you in a minute.
I guess we concentrate on Lindsay and Amory then. Try and get some points in.
I thought you said we already got Lindsay though.
At some point, you end up in a boasting tournament.
Oh.
I don't have any sailing skills. I don't know if that's going to be a
You're
problem.
not boating, boasting.
Ah,
Look at me for. Yeah, I understand now. Spoiled it, didn't I?
sorry, Medi. I probably just wrecked your display by leaving a region. Oh, does that put me back in the place?
If you've rejoined it, it'll put you back in the right place, yeah, with the camera on.
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
Cool. Trying to work out how to get a nice background. It turns out that, yeah, I need more than 8 minutes reading Reddit pages whilst trying to figure out how a new game system works. Do you all use OBS Studio, right?
I just use NVIDIA Broadcast. Don't use OBS anymore.
NVIDIA Broadcast. Okay, and you don't have to green screen with it. It does all the.
No.
It rinses your graphics card to do all the re-rendering.
It does everything for you. It's
Okay.
literally you choose which device, which image you have on the background,
And then you
and
tell
the score to use
to
NVIDIA
use that.
Broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And sound, I don't touch NVIDIA Broadcast. I just have my headset set on it, so I just use it for the background.
Gotcha.
It's.
What I will
I
say
was trying to
though,
work out OBS, and it made no sense to me, and I did that. It's like,
what I
why
will say,
bother
Chick,
using
at the
OBS?
moment you can't launch your camera in Discord if you've got a web page open.
I can in Firefox, so I think it's specific to browsers.
It's a Google thing, yeah.
Yeah, Chrome. Yeah. Okay, I use Firefox anyway, so that should be fine.
Yeah, I've had no problems
It's not.
with.
I don't have an issue.
Oh, that's really cool. Just discovered that at some point in the book, not actually that much further in the book than you are, well, relatively speaking, you start earning Kingdom XP. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Didn't know that was a thing. Clearly it is.
Oh, I've not got round to registering for Society yet.
Yeah,
Is
don't
that-
worry about it. You don't need to at the moment. It's not a problem.
Okay, that gives you points though, doesn't it? Like I ran a
Yeah,
Society game.
but, we're so far away from that right now. It's not a major rush. When you get to 4th level, then we will log the first chronicle, and at that point, if you've not registered, you just won't be able to log the chronicle. We're probably a couple of months away from that yet.
Cool. Yeah, I'm
All right.
probably. Okay.
No, go on, carry on.
No, it doesn't matter.
So let's carry on. We can always move over Nagruk and come back to Nagruk when he gets back. So back to the banquet. We're now about. Well, we are not about. We are. We're coming to about an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half into this banquet. The food is kind of satiating you. We're now onto desserts of all kinds. Many of them from Brevoy, obviously, and Restov, and a few of the local kingdoms associated around the area. Conversation is starting to turn to musings of what people would and wouldn't do as they, when they get their charter from the Lady Almor Jamandi. There you go. The group of adventurers dressed in full plate armor, these guys up here, you will learn over the course of the dinner that they are known as the Iron Wraiths. They have somewhat of a reputation for being fairly hard arses. And they are very confident about the kind of charter that they will receive from the lady. But as attention turns back to dessert and to dessert wine, and I'd say coffee, I suppose they probably drink coffee. Let's go back to Darak and his influencing of individuals.
okay. guess I'll target Ambry.
Target
Same one
Amory. All right. And how are you going to approach Amory?
I'm going to strike up a conversation about living off the land.
Okay. So a survival roll.
And different tricks that we use for foraging and being able to feed yourself.
Give me a survival roll.
I've also got the forager feat, whether that would help at all.
What does that normally give you?
Guaranteed success on foraging rolls. If I get anything other than a success, I get a success.
Even a critical?
That's the exact wording it says. Anything other than a success, you get a success. So
That's freaking awesome. Do you know what? I'm going to leave you a +2 for that, because you can really talk detail about how you have never failed to put food on the table when you've been out in the wilds, ever. And actually, quite often you're able to find the most sumptuous truffles and mushrooms and everything. And she seems very impressed, and she kind of grips your arm at one point and she says, "You will do well in the wilds. You will survive. I have no doubt about that. You can live off the land." And I'll give you actually 25 survival. Not quite enough for a critical, so I'll just give you the 1 success. But 1 success is better than no successes. All right, Barristan.
Where does that bring Amory up to?
6.
Too short.
All is short.
This is round 5, yes, of 6.
This is round 5 of 6, yes.
All right, I'm going to trust that that maybe the group might go back to Amory for a bit. And I'm going to persist with Jathol.
Jathol, okay.
Yes, I'm going to, as the conversation's kind of turning to what people would do and what kind of ideas that they've got for the stolen lands. I'm gonna stick on a kind of a religion front.
Okay.
And just express that although I have a strong faith myself, that I see places for all religions in the stolen lands. Just try and kind of engage her on that kind of aspect of it and see what her thoughts are.
Okay.
Can religion again? Then I shall.
You absolutely can.
I'm just trying to hit my numbers. There we go. Oh, that's not terrible.
Give me 1 second. I should check. 23. 18. Well, that's a success. She kind of nods and she says, "That is my hope, that all can be welcome, irrespective of their backgrounds and their faith. A new start, a fresh life. Yes, that is what I seek. You are perceptive, my dear Barristan. There you go. I'll give you a success."
Very nice.
All right, let's go to Garin.
Well,
Learning people's names now.
not to be dissuaded from my last attempt at a loot off, I'm going to try again. I've reached you my loot, and I'm going to look Lindsay in the face and have another go at this.
Do it.
My rolls tonight are completely pants.
Sorry, this might change things. Can everybody give themselves a hero point?
Didn't you have a bonus one anyway, Maddie, from your awesome singing earlier?
Yeah, I used it on the same roll.
Oh, did you?
Can I
So everybody just give yourself a hero point. Maximum you can have is 3.
How'd you add them? Mine's not going on.
Yeah,
Pop
where
in.
are they? I can't remember where they are.
Pop in the character.
You
right-click
left
up
click
and
to add, right click to remove.
I see mine wasn't doing that. That's weird. I suppose it popped
Under
out.
your name on your
Under
character.
name.
I've given everybody who's
Okay.
so Negrek's got 1. Yeah, everybody's got 1. Okay, cool. So you have a hero point, which is why I just remembered, because I was going to give you everybody at the top of round 5. So you're re-rolling. You have a bad start. To be fair, the wine is very nice. The heat of all the bodies, the food, the
Slight
general
nudge from the
atmosphere,
Gruck.
the lulling of the rain on the windows, all that kind of thing is just making you a little bit floaty. And you strike a couple of rough chords, and then you kind of manage to pull it back, and you get yourself into a really nice song. I will give you an influence for Lindsay.
So we're 3 now with her.
You're 4 with Lindsay.
Oh, 4, I beg your pardon.
But we
Yeah.
need 8 to get.
You need 8 to make it to get to her top tier.
We're 6 with Amory, right? We need 8
It
for her
is.
as well.
We need 2 more to get something
You're at
done.
6 with Amory. You need 2 more with Amory. You need 4 more with Lindsay. So, or 1 more with Jathel to just get her to friendly. Okay, so let's go to Nagruk.
Okay, knowing that the conversation is going really well with Van,
Yeah.
and trusting his best instincts, Nagruk is going to turn to Amory and put his elbow on the table like that,
Okay.
and then turn directly and look at Shell.
Okay.
So the goal here is either I win and gain influence, or he wins and he's already in her good book.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to wrestle with Shell?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So
Okay.
So we both do an athletics roll, right?
You know what? Let's do a roll-off athletics. Either way, we'll see what happens. Do a roll-off with athletics.
I've still got that oil, boys.
I'm not vying for her. Oh, that's better. It was nearly a 6.
Hold on, don't
He
get too
broke his
excited.
wrist.
You're going to waste a hero point on your brother.
It's not
My
brother.
brother.
The
Not my
brothers
brother.
now. They're just flipping heck.
I had 3 of them anyway, so.
Okay, nice. Okay. Nagruk, with a smile, you kind of look at her and then nod at Shell. With that with that unspoken winner takes the prize kind of thing. And with a bit of grunting and heaving and you kind of both put effort into it and you both make your biceps stand out, and I'll give you an influence. I don't think it's enough. Ooh, not quite enough for a critical, but I will give you an influence point. And she laughs. You two make me laugh. I look forward to spending time with both of you this evening.
If that
As
makes
long as you're
sense.
not too tired. Let's go to Shell. How do you respond to this other orc who's just beaten you in an arm wrestle?
You need a rematch
He
with
doesn't have
candles
muscles
at
in you.
each side, so whoever gets down gets burnt.
And just so we're clear, folks, very quickly, we're not related. We are not brothers in this game.
Oh, right.
I am going to attempt a trip action. I am going to lean forward as if to look and to say something to Amory, and in doing so, take this big ugly thing's feet out from under him and dump him on his arse.
Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint here. She won't look favourably at that.
Ah, damn. Okay.
She likes the projection of strength.
Not
She would see this as underhand.
deception. Yeah, it was going to be an athletics roll.
Yeah, it would be, but
It was grapple,
she would
but it was
see this.
negative.
I'll tell you what, you can do it, but
Actually-
you'll be at a much harder DC.
Okay. I mean, we're very close to the top tier with this one. I am
You
wondering whether to try and impress the other. No, we'll do that next turn. What else could you do then that's a little bit more sensible? The other thing I was considering is basically showing off my sword.
It's a bit early for that. I mean, it's only what, like 8:30 at night or something.
Yeah, but
And
Do some handstand push-ups on your bench.
I'm a bit concerned about knocking somebody's drinks over. Though she did seem to think throwing things at other people around the room is funny, right?
Not funny.
Not
It was
funny,
more.
yeah.
It was more. She just didn't care for the gift. She just cared for the strength that created the gift.
Right. Okay. I'm very short of ideas here. I'm sorry, people.
No, it's fine.
I want to do like a kind of strength-based check again because it seems like an easy way of doing it, but my mind's gone a bit blank.
we've got. Yeah, the only two things I've got down for is athletics and survival.
Can you try and lift Nagruk?
I was about to
Like
say
bench
that.
pressing?
I mean, you could do a best of 3 at worst.
Well, so this is Amri we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So she's armoured in animal skins. She's got a great sword. Intimidation and survival will work against her. Dislikes small people. Likes swimming.
Yeah.
That's what I've got as well.
That is exactly Amory. Yeah.
In that case,
You got a bit of intimidation, or
no?
He's
my
not an
character-
intimidator.
No.
Just
We can't even go for a quick midnight swim, could we? Could
no.
offer the midnight swim. No. Oh, fuck. I want to have to try this under a law warfare, I think. I'm going to... Because earlier on I complimented their sword.
Okay.
And would like to kind of do a kind of, yeah, it's pretty nice, but check this out, and offer, like, demonstrate the hunk of steel that I've got attached to my back. Because on first glance, this is a bit of character background. First glance, it looks like a kind of relatively rough, kind of spiky bit of metal, just with a bit of a rough handle and stuff like that. So it doesn't look like much, but it is a lot more effective than it looks. So I don't know whether that can be tied into a law warfare check.
Sure, you can absolutely do that.
Okay.
Or, so that'd be a hard check. Or you could, if you think about, I'm thinking, has anybody ever seen the film Steel Dawn with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Where he pulls out his sword and he spins it around his body?
Oh, there's like a cat. He does a kata, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of films that do that, but that was the first film that came to my head because I love that film.
So pull it out, give it a little twirl.
Basically use your strength rather than your dexterity to just demonstrate how you could carve people up with your sword, and I would allow that as another athletics
My
check.
dex is higher, but I don't have. Could I do it? Could I use acrobat? No, because then it wouldn't be a strength check.
And she
Okay.
wouldn't be that bothered about that. No.
All right, so let's do that. I'm going to demonstrate
Absolutely.
how strong I am.
Yeah.
I mean, the sword is about the same size as Amber, so it's an orc dueling sword. Oh, that was a 19.
You do have a hero point.
Yeah. What?
Remember, don't hoard hero points because at the end of the session they reset to 1 for next week.
Yeah.
23. That's a critical.
Well done, sir.
Thank you very much.
She kind of, as you kind of finish your flourishes with your sword, you make them about strength and projecting power rather than the finesse and the dexterity that you would normally use. It's quite hard for you. It doesn't quite come naturally. But she kind of jumps up and she kind of goes, "That's what I like to see." And she pulls out her great sword and she swings it around her head a couple of times. And she brings the flat of the blade down on the table. And the table kind of bows a little bit, and a load of food and stuff and a couple of cups nearby spill. And she says, "You and me, we can have a lot of fun together."
Once again, I kind of pull back a little bit at that.
Okay.
And just kind of
It's fine.
pat her on the shoulder and go, alright, cool.
All right, nicely done. Nicely done. Let's go to Ember for the bottom of round 5.
Amber wants to intimidate the barbarian.
Ember wants to intimidate. Right, so you don't need to anymore, but you're more than welcome to.
Barbarians
need
now
to
top
anymore.
tier.
Oh,
We've maxed out.
Just as
Jathal would be good.
yeah, Jathal or Lindsay maybe. Jathal, you need one more. You said to get her a bit friendlier.
Jathal.
And
2 points.
intimidation.
Actually,
One of her
so-
things, isn't it?
So just back up for 1 second. So as you do that, she smiles and she kind of, like I say, she spins her sword and she slams it down. And then her hand immediately goes to a dagger at her hilt, and she kind of slides it out and she tosses it to you.
Wait, to me.
No, to Shell.
No.
Oh.
And as you catch it, you notice it's an incredibly sharp, very nicely made dagger with a rune on it.
Goodness me.
She's given you a +1 dagger.
Of course she has. I will thank her. I'll thank her, and obviously, I just give her a little nod.
And as she kind of tosses it to you, she says, stick that into something twice your size for me.
Do you give a little glance at Nagruk?
I give her a little glance. Yes.
Alright, let's go back to Ember for bottom of round 5.
Yeah, if you want to do an intimidate, Jathal's kind of like.
Jathal would be the best one to gain something from. Or Jathal or Lynn. Jathal. Yeah, Jathal would be the one to do something with.
We've got +1 with Tattoo Show, but I don't think we're going to get anything from him.
What? Alright, you. Well, my intimidation isn't as good as my athletics. Is it as good as my acrobatics or my stealth?
Yeah, intimidation on Jathal will help.
Okay, I'll do intimidation on Jathal.
Okay. Give me an intimidation roll. I've lost Jathal.
What are you doing? Just running down the table and screaming in her face? It's got to that time where you're a few too many mugs in and you're just like just screaming in people's faces.
Yeah, come on then if you think you're hard enough.
Okay, well,
I'm going to re-roll that.
she kind of looks over at you, and as you kind of scream at her, her hand it reflexively goes for this scythe, and then she kind of lets it go, and she smiles. A half crack, her face kind of half cracks into a smile, and she says, "Watch it, small one. You are quite fearsome, aren't you, when you want to be? Put those teeth away." But she says it in a very jovial, kind of smiling voice.
Okay.
All right, nice. Right, top of round 6, final round. And then we will bring the feast to a conclusion. So, Darak, anything you particularly want to achieve this round?
Yeah, I'm going to do perception on Tattoo Show again. I don't like him, I don't know why.
Deception, did you say?
No, perception.
Perception, go for it.
Let's put that back in because it doesn't work otherwise. I'm happy with that one.
Perception.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get any higher than that.
He just sees everybody around him as inferior. Almost like he's too good to be here.
Okay, is it he acting strangely towards anyone in particular, like he's got an ulterior motive? Or...
Everybody gets the brunt of it. He's argumentative, he's rude,
He's just a little scrope.
he just insults everybody, and every now and then, to anybody who would listen, he reminds them that in his view he is the only person in the whole room worthy of inheriting the stolen lands.
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Barristan.
Did we get Jathal to 3 influence?
You have Jazel to 3 influence.
You
Yes.
said that's where we needed to get her. We've got Amri, is it?
Yeah.
So where do we stand with the other negative with
So you've got -2 with Magar. He's just not interested in the majority of you at the table now. Well, actually, that's not strictly true. You've got -2 influence with him, but that's actually if Nagruk was to continue trying to influence him. The rest of you still have a chance with him,
Ah,
but
right.
not
Okay, so-
Nagruk. But not Nagruk.
Okay. So Artusi, I don't like him.
Yeah, no.
Who else?
Harry, you haven't even started, and you're not going to be able to get the. You need 2 to get him to the first state. Right now, he's indifferent to the group.
Probably Hail Mary on Magar. I can try and calm his his thoughts about Nakruk down a little bit. And
Okay.
I know that he's talking about the various histories and heraldries and things of the area. Can I engage him with law warfare? It's a bit of a Hail Mary on that.
Absolutely engage him with law warfare. Yes.
I'm not expecting this to go anywhere at all, but let's see if I can roll like a 20 or something. Roll a 19.
That's not something.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
22 on a law
Yep.
warfare, Barristan.
Oh, blimey, keep doing that.
He kind of sits back in his chair and adjusts his sword so you get a view of the crest on the sword. I've been waiting to speak to somebody who speaks my language, that talks like I do, that appreciates the finer points of historical warfare. Your conversation, though late in the day, has inspired me to look a little bit closer. Yes.
I can't claim any nobility myself, but my father used to fight in the wars, a minor noble of the houses of Brevoy.
Well, that is.
He died before I came of age.
Well, that is so sorry. Myself, as the 3rd son of a Brevic Baron, I don't really stand to inherit much from my father. I'm hoping that this opportunity, this grand opportunity, will be something where I can make a name for myself, impress my father. You know how it is, the 3rd son of a 3rd son.
I do, I understand, and that's one of the things that intrigued me about this invitation, a chance to,
Well,
to raise my house and.
I welcome meeting you on the road in the stolen lands. Perhaps both of us will have the honour of creating our own little fiefdom, and if so, then perhaps we should definitely seek each other out.
Indeed, perhaps an ally would be useful.
All right, then we go to Garen.
Okay, I'm going to have a crack at, I don't know if it's going to work, but
Let's push the button.
yeah, so I'm going to crack at Jethel. But my tact is going to be, I'm going to sing her a song.
Okay.
With something that she might like.
So, you can absolutely do that.
Are you any good at diplomacy? Because I do recall she is lonely, but it's quite a hard nut to crack.
I'm quite good at diplomacy.
Maybe a friend might be a better idea than playing a tune.
Okay, so I'll lean across to Jethel and say, are you all alone here? If you ever need a friend to talk to, I'm all ears. And have a little smile.
Okay, give me a diplomacy roll.
Had this image of him playing.
She has a sly smile come across her face as you mentioned that you're all ears. Hero point?
I'm all out of love. No, hero point.
Oh,
She
no,
kind of,
used it,
she kind of just her interest towards you is just not really there. For a moment, you piqued her interest, and then it kind of waned as she just kind of stared for a moment over towards Barristan as he's engaged in a discussion about historical warfare of Brevoy with Magar. Let's go to Nagruk.
Oh, let's get a new group. What can possibly go wrong this time?
That's what you said last time when you got a natural 1, so stop saying that.
Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna look over at Jathon and kind of feign interest in her side. I want to understand how she uses it, what it's for, what form of attack she does, what her fighting stance is, and trying to engage her in conversation around that.
Okay. So are we talking diplomacy? Are we talking law warfare? Something else?
Warfare, I hope.
Okay, go for it. Give me a roll.
It's more about martial ability, and I was nearly at 4. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I use a hero point.
Okay, go for it.
Come on, give me 1d6. Oh, I was nearly at 1.
Just nobody critically fail, okay? 'Cause
Right.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
consider
we
fair.
don't want to lose influence. We've got Jatho and we've got Andrew so far.
well, Lindsay's not bad as well. I think.
Yeah,
She,
we're level 2 on it, let's see.
for a few moments, she feigns interest, but then she kind of drifts off and kind of looks almost past you. So not a critical failure, but not a success. Okay, let's go to Shell.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to figure out who to use my charming wiles on next. I, rather than following this fella, I'm gonna cast my gaze down on the table to this lonely little dwarf that's left there.
Okay.
And I'm going to attempt some kind of survival role talking about, let me check my notes a moment, the ruins in the stolen land, trying to engage him in conversation about exploring the land and what we'd expect to what he'd expect to find there, and demonstrate an ability to, bring it to the outside.
Okay, give me a survival roll. He
Leave that there.
he just kind of shakes his head, and he seems lost in just thought and not really engages you, even at the mention of lost dwarven ruins. And last but not least, let's go to Ember for the final push.
But at this point, it might just be worth trying to find out a bit more about somebody. Because I don't think we're going to win any more hearts and minds.
Oh, I'll do a discover on the dwarf then.
Go for it. Perception, religion.
I'm not doing perception.
Nice.
I mean, I'm not doing religion, I don't know. It's not skilled in it.
So a few things about the dwarf. There was a couple of the times. So some of the play around arm wrestling and things that the two orcs did. He scowled a number of times at that. He also scowled at some of your play, your coin rolling. He didn't particularly find that amusing. He seems to be a very serious, a very stoic kind of dwarf, all business, no pleasure, though pretty open to conversation. He engaged in conversation with a number of the servants. But interestingly, a lot of the times it always seems to end up with some kind of comment about abandoning hope or making sure your final fate is pleasant and not destructive and all this kind of stuff. So, and usually when that happens, the person he's talking to kind of immediately finds a reason, an excuse to leave. So he's an odd character, doesn't seem to like optimism. But did warm to your dwarven tongue. So you would get the sense that if there were dwarves among the group here, that you would find, he would be more open to it.
Okay. I did think it was more religion based, that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to assume. Right, one more moment, my good friends. Nope. A bell rings 9 times. With each ring of the bell, conversation begins to stop. All eyes turn on the Lady Jamandi. My friends, I hope you have enjoyed the food and the drink this evening. Her words are quickly met with a round of cheers and enthusiastic tappings from several mugs, goblets, dozens of glasses. It takes a few moments for the room to grow quiet again. Smiling broadly, she continues, "You honour me, truly. But this night is for you. As heroes, you have responded to my call, and I can't wait to hear tales of your exploits in the weeks and months to come. Tomorrow, I shall speak with you all about your individual charters. I suspect it will be a busy day, so I suggest we make an early evening of it. After all, you have kingdoms to plan." Lady Jamandi's words are met with an even louder round of cheers and drinkware tapping. A few goblets even shatter thanks to over-eager hands. Lady Jamandi gestures to the large double doors to the east and west. "Of course, I've arranged bedchambers for all of you. My guards will escort you to them now. I hope you find them restful. We shall speak further tomorrow when we meet back here at sunrise. For now, good evening, my heroes." And she rises, everybody else kind of rises, cheers and claps and hoots and hollows as her and the gentleman that she's with exit stage left. Congratulations, you have finished part 1, The Heroes Falling.
Nobody got stabbed. Well done, everyone.
Nobody got stabbed.
Though you did get a dagger thrown at you.
Handed to me. It's
Oh,
quite
you
nice
did
as well,
throw
actually.
it across the table, so.
Okay, so for that, I've just got to set something up really quickly. Can I do it this way? No, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. Just move those folks to there for a second. Grab everybody here. Do a select. Oh, God. I can't do this from this sheet. Well, that is rubbish. It needs me to have a target. Maybe I can do it this way. No. Okay. Everybody, give yourself 80 XP.
How do I do that?
Get away for me to do that easily from here.
Done.
Yep. Done.
Just go. It's in the top left-hand corner of your character sheet.
Top right.
Just give yourself 80
Right.
XP. All right.
Done.
Many of the groups linger, having one final aperitif. Conversation turns to the opportunities that lie ahead, many speculating on the possibility of the charter that they will personally receive or receive as a group. You get the sense that there are a number of adventuring groups already established here, and that the group of you, the 6 of you and the 6 fellows on the other side of the table seem to be almost the only solo individual adventurers present. Eventually, you are led out by a group of tired-looking guards, probably a half hour or so later. Roughly 9:30 at night, fairly respectable time to turn in and retire, especially for adventurers. The thunderstorm is in full force outside, the rain hammering down on the walls, the roofs, the glass of the buildings. So, give me a minute to set the next. Do I want this? Yeah. Yes. Okay. North, south, east. Right. You are taken to the east wing. In fact, you are taken to, if I can just, 1 second, I'm going back to here. You are brought to the east wing. And in particular, it's quite dark, isn't it, this map? To following. You find your... Oh, okay, it's not all there. All right, I see what they've done. Give me a sec. I've got to pull a map up that I wasn't expecting to have to pull up. East wing. No worries, we'll be there in a second. Okay. All right, so you are given 2 rooms, I believe. Actually...
One for me and 5 beds for you in the other.
See, we're still in the manor, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, on my screen, I'm still in the Aldori Manor Hall.
Yeah, that's fine. You are. I haven't
Yeah,
moved you yet.
That's
So, I'm just going to... So, actually, the 6 of you, you find yourselves Barristan, Darek, Ember, Garin, Nagruk, and Shell. Find yourself being escorted to a room at the far end of the east wing. Oh, this is funny. I forgot I did that. It's the first time Chick is not here. It's the first time Chick... We'll wait for him to turn up. Let's not say anything.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yes. Yeah, I like it.
I got AI to give me an icon of an orc in a shell
That's
suit.
amazing. Yeah, I've gone off my icon completely in the last week, so I'm probably going to change it and send it over
Yeah,
again.
just change it and let me know and I'll update it properly. Okay, so the room contains a mixture of 2 bunk beds and 2 standard beds, a dresser, an oil lamp attached to the centre of the south wall, and several potted plants. A decorative brass brazier forged to resemble a sleeping red dragon sits in one corner. The guards escort you to the room and they say, your room ladies and gentlemen, pleasant evening, pleasant dreams.
Why,
We
thank
will
you.
assemble for breakfast an hour after sunup. Listen for the morning bell. And then they leave. They close the door, they leave. There's no locking of the door. You poke your head out. Nobody, there's nobody out the door. You're not being guarded. You don't get the sense that this is a lock-in, that you're not supposed to move around. But, and you can see some of the other groups kind of going into different rooms and kind of settling down and stuff like that. So what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to pluck away and introduce myself to everybody.
Okay.
I'm looking through the window at the moment.
It is pissing it down, and every now and then you get a flash of lightning that lights up the beautiful manicured gardens, bushes and trees this side of the big wall. There's like a wall, probably a 6-foot brick wall at the far end of this mansion. I mean, the place is huge, the place is amazing, and it's full.
The only thing on my character's mind is to go to bed.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain how pleasant it is to make each of your company, and find a free bunk, and climb
All right. I'm going to ask a really obvious question. What are you doing about armor? For those of you, so what did people bring with them? There was nothing in the summons that said you couldn't come fully armed, and as you've seen, the Iron Wraiths were fully armed. Amari had her weapon, her armor, her skins, etc. So, have you brought all your gear, just your weapons and armor, just to make yourself presentable? Are you in normal clothing with a weapon? What are you? How have you brought yourselves here?
Well, most of my gear's in a backpack, and I've got my armor and weapon.
Okay.
Can you rest in medium armor?
You end up with fatigue.
So no, I'll take my armor off. I'm gonna get.
light armor.
Again, you end up in fatigue.
Cool. In that case, I'll shug out of my leather jerkin.
Yeah, I'm wearing padded, so I'll do the same thing. I'll just take mine off and drop it at the bottom of the bed.
Is
I think
there
padded you can wear
any
it.
mechanism to lock?
Hang on. Yeah, just let me have a look. So there's a feat that allows you to do it, right? A Swordmaster archetype actually has the ability to rest in armor. You just got to be trained in the armor. So no, you do need to. Any armor creates fatigue if you sleep in it.
Well, I presume you can't hold your weapons either.
I mean, in terms of can you sleep with a weapon? You can sleep with a weapon in front of you. You can put a dagger under your pillow. You can rest your sword against the side of the bed. You can do all those things. Absolutely.
There'll be like an action like drawing and sheathing.
We're only going to sleep. It should be all right. So we're in the middle of a castle. So I'm going to put my stuff on this set of
Can I
drawers.
climb out the window?
Can you what?
Climb out the window.
Why?
I just want to look outside.
You're going to get wet.
Oh, alright, never mind.
It is thundering, lightning, and pissing it down outside.
And once you're out, we'll close the window.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to go outside, you're absolutely welcome to go outside. But I'm not going to stop you.
Raining. I want to get wet. Oh, it reminded me I should have bought a cloak and keep myself getting wet.
So
I'm going to.
I'm going to make the assumption then that you're all going to sleep without your armor.
Yep.
You're going to set it up nicely. So just make sure you so on your character sheets, if you can unequip your armor for me. Yes, you know what's coming.
I knew I should have taken the feat that allows me to stick on armor more quickly.
So it's
And
been
then can
stowed or dropped.
Just stow it. Don't drop it because that just gets messy.
Yeah, I sewed it into my backpack.
Oh, it.
Yeah.
I keep my dueling cape on, right? As I
Yeah, you can wear things that you can wear normal clothes.
Yeah.
A cape you can just pull around you and wrap around you and use that to kind of as your blanket. So that's absolutely not a problem. Just if you choose to rest in armor, you become fatigued.
So I stowed all my weapons
And
including...
my buckler I'm going to stow as well because I wouldn't slip that in my hand.
Yeah, same here.
I'll just be leaning against the side of the bed, the shield, and pick it up as I
That's
go.
what I'm going to do. Lean my sword up against it.
Yep.
It's all absolutely superb.
They're
So,
doing mine under the pillow.
can everybody give me a perception roll?
Do you like that to be a blind roll? It's good.
Yeah, send me blind rolls, please. Oh,
Blinds GM.
This is where everyone who fails has to re-roll their character.
Blind GM is we don't even see it.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's just the initiative roll, isn't it?
I rolled the wrong, sorry.
Well, not
no,
just
it's
that one.
fine. Don't worry about it, Shell. It's absolutely fine. It's still rolled a perception check. I mean, yes, it's actually the section above initiative because it's not combat that you're entering. This is just, do you notice anything in your sleep?
That's my initiative, yes. So it's survival. Here's that.
That better be an awesome roll I've just done because I've changed my dice.
Yeah, the roll is amazing, Garen. Let me just double check to see. We're concluding there. So let's play a little bit of different music, shall we? I'm going to stop. I don't know what River played. I'm going to stop River. I'm going to stop Thunderstorm. Because actually by now they have stopped. The rain and the thunder has stopped. For the moment, the only thing that you hear is the
scream of those people outside.
well, funnily you should say that. Amongst the snoring, the snorts, the farts, the general noises that the group are making in this room,
Barristan. My mic on then.
Barristan and Shell, you suddenly something disturbs you both at the same time, and you immediately snap to, hands automatically grabbing the closest weapon to you.
Right, let me
At that point, there is and you realise.
Can I shout up to everyone? Something is afoot.
Absolutely shout up. Yes.
I will also be on my feet if I can.
Okay. Who wears light armor?
Me.
I do.
I do.
Okay. If your armor is light, you have enough time to pull it on.
Interesting.
If you're in medium or heavy armor, you do not.
Right.
So light armor takes a minute to don, so you have approximately 1 minute of game time to react. So as you kind of come to, those of you who know that you can get your armor on quickly, just grab it and pull it over your head. Half of you stick the wrong arm in the wrong hole and have to kind of readjust it. The rest of you, unfortunately, you kind of realise that something is going on outside. And Shell and Barristan, you woke because there was this kind of cry that woke you up that didn't seem to come from or be part of the nocturnal noises that the group were making. Darak, you were fast asleep. You had absolutely nothing. Ember was also fast asleep. I mean, Darak, you rolled a 1. Ember, you didn't roll a 1, but you didn't get any better than Darak in terms of total score. Nagruk and Garin, you were still a little bit. Garin, were close enough to hearing it, but not quite. And Nagruk, you were still kind of sleepy.
I'm going to, once I've got my sword and my whip and my armour, I'm
Are there
going
light
to
source
make
in this room?
eye contact with Barristan.
Yeah.
Yes, Barristan. and pad over towards the door
Okay.
quietly as possible and have a little listen at the door. Would I need to listen at the door? Have we perception?
While you're doing this, yeah, Barristan nods at you appreciatively and grumbles to himself. This better not be someone's shit-faced. He's starting to stuff his armor into his backpack.
So yeah, I'm very much on the balls at my feet, excited and ready to, what's the word?
Do you want to just throw open the door and take a look, or do you want to take a moment to listen?
I'm going to listen at the door whilst...
Alright, give me a perception roll.
No active encounter, why is it? Oh, that's initiative, that's why. I will make it like that, hopefully.
You think you hear footfall outside the door. Somebody being as quiet as possible. But not that drunken quiet that you've sometimes participated in, where you think you're being quiet and you're giggling as you're kind of tiptoeing down. Actual, almost silent.
Wicked. I'm going to point to the door.
I'm going to go stealthy.
Yeah. And I will do a little countdown on my hand to everyone in the room.
Put yourself to the door. Are you going from where you are there, or are you going to physically open the door down there?
I will be here.
I'm going to draw my blade, but I'm not going to be holding it in a threatening way. I'm just going to have it ready.
Yeah, I'm going to raise my shield.
Okay, so as I count down to 0, I kick the door open.
Okay. You kick the door open. Did you hear that? Noise when you open the door. That's freaking awesome.
How the hell did you kick the door open?
In front of the door
Hi.
is this figure.
He has a knife. And a hand crossbow. Holy crap.
Okay.
And gentlemen, it is 10 o'clock. Next week, we are going to roll for initiative.
Ah, you absolute bastard.
Am I hidden? Did I hide?
You can use stealth as your initiative for next week, Ember.
Okay.
If it's being at a door and somebody it gets kicked open, there's a 7-foot green dude wearing shells through to the other side of you.
give me a phone.
Right, that picture was brilliant. Almost as good as I still think Maddie's was amazing.
It was funny.
Betty, you've got to use that picture, bruv. It was.
Yeah.
Can't. Sorry.
It can't. It's a real person. That's the problem.
Draw a moustache on it or something.
He has a moustache on it. That's also the problem. So, gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this evening. So, where we ended up, I'll put some notes about this. You did end up friendly with Magar. You ended up with helpful / impressed with Amri, and you ended up with friendly with Jathal, and I think possibly friendly with Lindsay.
So, rank 2, I think with Lindsay. I don't think we got to
Rank 2 with Lindsay, yes. So she would be helpful. Yeah. Shell, you do have. Let me give it to you. I'm going to give you Amri's dagger.
Thank you. A quick question on that.
Yep.
Question. So I added a corset dagger to use as a concealed weapon, just because it's my kind of thing. Now, given that I'm quite large, would I be able to use this dagger as a concealable item? Or is it a good, 2 foot of steel, because she's a barbarian?
This dagger is.
I'm assuming it's just a dagger, isn't it?
D4 plus 3 damage.
You didn't like at the hand stages there.
Where's wood?
This swashbuckler, daring and bright, Nukrit the fighter, fierce in the fight, and Ember the rogue, with skills that thrill. Together they embark on an epic ordeal. trials, we shall prevail. With our kingdom rising, we will never fail. From the stolen lands to the throne we claim, Pathfinder Kingmaker will make our name. Oh, oh, from the stolen lands to the throne we claim. First the land of Golarion, where the tales unfold, with Barristan the cleric, with magic.